Did you know that blood pressure can actually be lowered without medication? Yes, you heard that right. With medication, you're only keeping your blood pressure under control, but you're not eliminating the root cause. By integrating these 10 steps I'm about to share with you into your life, you can beat hypertension without medication, or at the very least, significantly reduce the number of pills you're taking if you're on multiple drugs. Before we get started, I have a quick request. I recently launched this channel, and my sole purpose is to provide you with truly valuable health information that will transform your life. There's no commercial agenda here. My only motivation is to make a positive impact on people's lives. By subscribing, you can support this effort. And by turning on notifications, you'll be instantly updated about new content. Now, without wasting any more time, let's begin with the first step to conquering blood pressure. 1. Low carbohydrate eating pattern. The fundamental problem with hypertension is the accumulation of water and salt in our bodies, which causes blood vessels to expand, tighten, and blood pressure to rise. At the center of the solution is transitioning to a low-carbohydrate eating model. Because the real factor that makes your body retain water and salt isn't consuming too much salt, it's your inability to excrete it. Our kidneys naturally have the capacity to eliminate salt. These mechanisms are genetically present, but unfortunately we can't actively use them. So why? Because of our high-carbohydrate-focused eating style. Excessive carbohydrate, junk food, and processed food consumption triggers insulin levels to rise in the body. When insulin rises, water and salt start to be retained in the body, blood vessels swell, and as a result, your blood pressure increases. If you truly want to beat hypertension, the most priority change you need to make is transitioning to low-carbohydrate eating. Completely eliminate simple sugars from your life, and if possible, reduce your daily carbohydrate intake to below 30% of your total calories. This way, your sensitivity to insulin will increase, your body will start eliminating water and salt, the kidneys' protective systems will activate, and your blood pressure will naturally drop. In lifestyle modifications, the cornerstone of hypertension management for us is the low-carbohydrate eating model. Now we're moving to the second point, but I want you to listen to this carefully. 2. Purging harmful oils. In medication-free blood pressure treatment, eliminating harmful oils ranks second. I'm aware this might seem a bit unconventional to you. Perhaps if I had put salt first, it would have been the classic content everyone expected. But one of the significant reasons why hypertension rates have increased so much today, why 1/3 of the population over age 30 and half of those over age 40 have hypertension, is something our ancestors never consumed but we use abundantly: harmful oils. Omega-6 loaded refined oils, refined sunflower oil, refined canola oil, refined soybean oil, corn oil. All of these are omega-6 deposits. When the omega-3 and omega-6 balance in our body is disrupted, when omega-6 increases and our omega-3 intake decreases, inflammation begins in our body. This inflammation damages the pancreas, creates destruction in pancreatic cells, and that's not all, it also damages blood vessel walls, raising our blood pressure. Insulin elevation, insulin resistance, damage to the vessel wall, increased pressure within the vessel, all of these ultimately return to us as hypertension. We must change the oils in our kitchen. We must move away from omega-6 loaded harmful oils. No matter how much omega-3 supplement we take, unless we get rid of omega-6 oils, this balance won't improve. We should turn to quality oils. Please check out our video on healthy oils and start using these oils in your kitchen. 3. Staying away from processed foods. Third in blood pressure control is the issue of processed foods that needs attention. By processed food, what we mean is this: high temperature and high amounts of additives. When cooking meat in your own kitchen at home, nobody adds nitrites, doesn't add high amounts of monosodium glutamate, doesn't add nitrosamines, doesn't use high levels of preservative potassium sodium salts. But when you buy sausage from the store, especially industrially processed sausages, salami, hot dogs, cookies, and crackers produced with highly processed oils and palm oil, all of these seriously damage your body. These processed products alone increase the risk of hypertension and diabetes. If a product is packaged and has a long ingredient list, it's most likely a processed food, because as the ingredient list gets longer, the level of processing increases. High heat, harmful oil usage, refined oils, salts, refined products, and additives like monosodium glutamate, all of these lay the groundwork for hypertension in the body. We don't prefer processed foods. Moreover, there's a sad reality. Because of processed foods, we've started seeing high blood pressure cases even at very young ages. A person can eat well, maintain calorie balance, exercise regularly, but still experience problems if they're consuming processed foods. We must eliminate processed products from our lives. If a product is packaged, we should think twice before buying it. we must flip it over and definitely look at the ingredients. If you're not reading ingredients, know that you're not on the right path. In point 4, there's something very important that most of you think you're paying attention to but are actually mistaken about. 4. Sugar-free lifestyle. The 4th step is a sugar-free way of life. I mentioned carbohydrate restriction in general, but sugar is especially an energy source that needs to be completely eliminated from our lives. I say energy source because technically it has nutritional value. Glucose, fructose, and fructose syrups can be used as fuel in our bodies, but when we consume these in excessive amounts, they lead to insulin resistance, fatty liver, vascular damage, arterial stiffness, inflammation, and ultimately hypertension. If you want to get rid of hypertension, it would be good to take a break from the desserts you consume after dinner meals. It would also be appropriate to pause your habit of eating a dessert after every lunch. The protocol we apply at our Heart 360 clinic is as follows. We completely eliminate sugar from our lives for a minimum of 21 days. Then we allow only a very small amount of sugar 1 day per week. Because as sugar consumption increases, as carbohydrate intake rises, your risk of becoming a hypertension patient again increases. Sugar is harmful and must be limited. Are you curious about what happens in your body when you quit sugar? Definitely check out our related video. 5. Long-distance walking. 5th in line is long-distance walking. Long-distance walks are perfect for breaking insulin resistance, eliminating salt and water from our body, regaining insulin sensitivity, relaxing our blood vessels, and at the same time, reducing our stress. Long walks are the natural enemy of hypertension. A person who regularly takes long walks can see their blood pressure drop between 8 and 20 points, almost as effective as medication. Walk, lower your blood pressure naturally. Now let's move to point 6, but this point is really very important. 6. Regular exercise. The 6th step is exercise. Long walks are not exercise. Long walking is extremely beneficial for insulin resistance, but exercise is aimed at accelerating basal metabolism. Muscles are actually the points where blood sugar and blood pressure are absorbed. By developing our muscle mass, exercising, raising our heart rate with cardio, we can beat hypertension naturally. For this reason, at our Heart 360 clinic, exercise is an activity that must definitely be done. Our patients sometimes ask, "Doctor, I have blood pressure. Won't it go even higher if I exercise?" Yes, it rises slightly during exercise. But thanks to this, blood pressure drops on its own over time. As we exercise, the body's detox systems activate, basal metabolism accelerates, blood sugar drops, and blood pressure naturally decreases. But if you remain inactive, none of these mechanisms work. As we exercise, your resting blood pressure starts to drop, but if you live inactively, that blood pressure will never decrease. That's why we embrace movement, not inactivity. The last thing someone with high blood pressure should fear is exercise. Please exercise. Lower your blood pressure. 7. Nutritional supplements. 7th in line are nutritional supplements. Especially supplements like magnesium are effective in lowering blood pressure and slowing heart rate. Some additional supplements may be needed. It's beneficial to leave these to your doctor because each individual's needs are different. You should know this. Some nutritional supplements will be recommended to you in blood pressure management and you'll need to use them. Because the vitamins, minerals, and nutritional values in soil, fish, and animals aren't always sufficient. Sometimes we may need to get support from external sources. Point 8 is more relevant to individuals who continue working at advanced ages. 8. Stress control. The 8th step is stress management. If you can't control stress, cortisol won't drop, your body can't eliminate water and salt, abdominal fat won't melt away, your sleep pattern gets disrupted, you remain constantly anxious and tense. Stress must definitely be managed. Mild-level stress is not a problem, short-term stress is normal, but long-term, chronic, and intense stress must definitely be managed. If necessary, you should consult a psychiatrist. In the patients we follow at our clinic, if stress management is problematic, we definitely recommend psychiatric support, because when stress isn't managed, adherence to lifestyle changes decreases. When we control stress, the results are really very good. Stress is a health problem and needs to be managed. 9. Sleep pattern. The 9th step is sleep regulation. People must definitely get enough sleep. When people sleep 5 hours and say, "Today was a great day, I was very energetic," they're actually fooling themselves. Nobody should sleep less than 7 hours. Sleeping less than 7 hours is not physiologically correct. Sleep is not just rest. During sleep, our brain activity is even higher than during the day. Sleep is necessary for the brain to clean itself, for the elimination of unused proteins, and should be more than 7 hours. When you sleep less than 5 hours, you may stay awake more throughout the day. But this doesn't mean you're burning more calories. When you experience sleep deprivation, your body goes into defense mode and anxiety mechanisms kick in. You become more stressed, you can't cope with stress, and your blood pressure spikes at even the slightest stimulus. Sleep deprivation is one of the most common causes of chronic hypertension. We're getting sick because we're not sleeping enough. If you steal your sleep, you've stolen your health. Unless sleep duration is over 7 hours, our blood pressure management remains inadequate. That's why everyone should sleep more than 7 hours. Check out our sleep-related content, improve your sleep quality, and beat hypertension. When preparing meals, please pay attention to the next point. This point is very important. 10. Salt restriction. The 10th and final step is salt restriction. It's truly one of the causes of hypertension, but the reason I put it in 10th place is that salt isn't the actual problem. Actually, our kidneys have the capacity to eliminate salt, but due to insulin resistance, they can't perform this function and salt starts to accumulate in the body. However, as a nation, we really consume too much salt. We have an average salt intake of over 20 grams per day. Guidelines recommend below 6 grams daily. Excessive salt consumption increases the risk of hypertension, because as salt increases, as sodium levels rise, these start to exchange places with calcium from cells. Calcium means arterial stiffness, calcium means hypertension. Calcium is the mineral unit that tightens and contracts the body. It's necessary, yes, but excess is harmful. We don't want calcium accumulating in blood vessel walls. That's why we restrict salt. We don't completely eliminate salt. There's no logical reason for a blood pressure patient to eliminate salt completely, but it should be restricted. Total daily salt intake should be kept below 6 grams. The vegetables and fruits we eat, the milk we drink, many products naturally contain salt. We don't need to add extra large amounts of salt. Also, salt has an addictive property. As you consume salt, your palate gets used to it and you want more. As you reduce salt consumption, try it yourself. Eat less salty for 3 weeks. Then use your old salt amount. You'll see it will taste too salty to you. Salt is completely a habit. Break this habit, limit salt consumption, and balance your blood pressure. Conclusion. Pay attention to these 10 steps and you'll see your blood pressure will drop on its own. How do I know this? I know from the patients we follow at our clinic. I'm actually giving you the formula for medication-free blood pressure treatment here and sharing the keys to the method we apply at our clinic. Apply these keys to your life, learn them, and beat hypertension without medication. Don't say I'm using medication anyway, this is just suppressing blood pressure, keeping it under control. But if you pay attention to these 10 steps, you can truly beat hypertension. Hypertension is not fate, it's a choice. Choose to manage blood pressure, not to accept it. I'm Dr. Evan Hartley. On the HealthHub channel, I try to provide you with important information for a healthy life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more content. Stay healthy.